It is Jo from Minerva, and today I'm here to do a how to fit your Savannah dress. So if you're keen on the Savannah dress pattern, you've seen it, you've seen lots of makes over on our feed, then you might want to know about the ease of the pattern, how you're going to measure yourself and how you're just generally going to get started. Today we're going to take a look at how to measure ourselves. We're going to take a look at the finished garment charts inside. It's a really inclusive pattern, but we need to make sure that you are picking the right size so that you get the most success with your Savannah dress. After you've measured yourselves, you're then going to take a look at the chart, compare your measurements, and then we can talk about whether you need to grade the pattern in any places. You need to make a major alteration anywhere because maybe you have a larger bust or a larger hip proportion to the pattern, or if you have a disability and you know that you have to make a certain change when you sew your own clothes. I'm wearing the Savannah dress today. I've got a t-shirt underneath and leggings just to keep warm and cozy. My studio is a bit cold today, and I want to show you some of the places in the Savannah that you can change the measurements, and also a little bit of the ease when you see it made up. So this is a long sleeve hack with a cuff on that I made in another video, in one of the hacking videos. But you can see from the dress there's lots of ease. I'll show you that in the finished garment chart. There's a little bit of room here. So if you have a larger bicep, then you can think about measuring that to make sure that your arm will fit comfortably. You might have a smaller arm, in which case you might want to change the pattern a little bit, which you'll find in one of the hacking videos. You've got a hip measurement here. Now that's going to rely on your pockets, so you will have a little bit of extra ease as your pockets sort of peel open a bit. So it's not tightly fitting like this, in which case you might find it's a little bit revealing of your garments underneath if you're layering up. So the pockets will just allow you to have a little bit of extra ease across the hips. This is made in viscose jersey. It's called popcorn jelly, and it gives a really loose fitting Savannah. And the reason I chose it was because I made these gathered long sleeves. I wanted to have that nice and drapey. I didn't want to make this out of terry and have really sort of thick gathering lines here. Okay, let's measure ourselves and get started. Before you start your pattern, you need to know which size, so you're going to take your body measurements. Measurements in the pattern are in inches and in centimetres. You can use a flexi tape measure, or I like this hemline one, which has a little plastic knob on the end, so I can let go and read the measurement. First measurement we're going to take is our high bust. When you relax and breathe out, you need to be able to still get your tape measure underneath. The high bust measurement does dip down at the back because it's taking into account your upper rib cage size. This is really important if you've got a large bust, because you don't want to just take your overall bust measurement, because that might mean it's too big around your shoulders. Write that number down. Next, you're going to take your full bust measurement. So that's around the fullest part of your bust. And this time you want to really try and keep your tape measure nice and parallel, so that this line is straight. You don't want it to be dipping down or rising up. Next, you're going to take your waist measurement. This needs to be not where you want your waist or where you think fashion dictates your waist is. It needs to be at the point where when you bend and when you sit and when you move around, it's the soft part. Take into account that if you're sitting down, you might get a little bit of spread, so make sure that when you sit down, you still have a comfortable fit where you can put your fingers underneath. Write this measurement down. Lastly, you're going to take your hip measurement, and that's going to be the widest part of your body. It will account for your bottom, it will account for your stomach, it will account for your width across your hips. If you've got a fuller tummy at the front, then you want to make sure that you're going over the fullest part. And take this measurement. Once you've got your measurements, we can take a look at the size chart. Once you get your pattern, before you cut anything out, just take a little bit of time to absorb some of the information in the pattern booklet. It gives you some pattern suggestions. So it says it's suitable for a medium to heavy weight stable knit. And it gives you some great fitting information here. So this is the bit we're going to take a look at today. So you're going to take your body measurements, your high bust, your full bust, your waist, your hips, and the pattern is drafted for someone who is 5'6", 5 foot 6 inches, 167 centimeters. If you're taller or shorter than that, you'll need to make your usual adjustments. Something that's really unique to Minerva patterns is a bust cup size piece of information here. It's really useful because Minerva patterns are split into 2 size brackets. So the Minerva Misses sizes A to J are designed for a B cup. So that's where you take your upper bust and your lower bust measurement, take them away from each other, find the difference between them, and that will help you here to find out which size cup you will need to be looking out for. The second part of the pattern is for Minerva women's sizes, which is K to T. So those are the larger sizes, and they're designed for a D cup, and they're accommodating a much bigger difference between your high bust and your full bust. So you take your high bust measurement, your lower bust measurement, take away the difference, and that will help to guide you towards a cup size. In turn, that will guide you towards these pattern brackets, A to T inclusively. There are some tips on how to determine your pattern size. So that's the joy of making clothes for ourselves. We don't want to make badly fitting things. We want to make things that fit. So we have a personal choice where we can decide the fit of a pattern. So we can change the ease. The ease is how much extra fabric is allowed for comfort around the body. So you can see the grey bit of the body, and then around it is the shape of the dress, and it's designed to sit this far away from the body. Of course, if you want to make it slimmer fitting, more of a fitted dress, you can make those alterations yourself. The final thing to think about before you cut out your fabric is how you're going to wear the garment that you have in mind. If you think you might wear it with layering underneath, then you might want to take that into account when you choose your size. So if you know you're going to put a long sleeve t-shirt underneath, like this one here, then you might want to make sure that you pick a size that allows a little bit more room. You might want to think, what are you going to do in your garment that you make? Are you going to go walking? Do you sit for work? Are you going to wear it every day? Are you going to wear it for a special occasion? So that might also help you to decide what size that you want, like what is the comfort fit for what you're going to be doing in the garment that you're making. Once you've got your measurements, we're ready to move towards the chart in the booklet. You start the measuring process by taking your measurements and marking them out on the body measurement section here in the size chart. Now it's quite unusual to have everything in the same place. It's not unusual to have things crisscrossing and moving across the chart from your bust, waist and hip. I'm going to mark mine on, and then we can have a look how they are spread out and tell us what that means when we cut out our pattern piece. So you can see it's size G for the bust area, it's size I for a waist, and it's size H for a hip. So you might be left wondering, which size shall I cut? Think about how you want to wear the dress, what you want to do in the dress, and decide which one of those is most important. You can then think about these measurements in terms of the finished garment measurements. So I'm leaning towards a G or a H. I'm thinking this eye measurement for my waist might be accommodated in the ease of the fabric, because I saw on the drawing on the previous page that there's lots of ease in the waist. If I was making a fitted garment, I might need to take that number into account much more strongly. I'm now going to look at those and compare them to these. These are the finished garment measurements. So I'm going to take my bust measurement here, 95 centimetres, and 95 centimetres will fit into this finished bust size of 104 centimetres with a little bit left over. So I'll have lots of ease in there and there'll be plenty of room. For my waist, this is the one that's concerning me the most, is 80 centimetres. But the finished garment is 105 centimetres, so my 80 centimetre waist will definitely fit in a 105 centimetre circumference of fabric. In fact, there's more than enough room, so it will definitely fit in there. My hip is 104 centimetres, and 104 centimetres will definitely fit into 119 centimetres, but I won't have so much space left over. Here I will have around 15 centimetres of ease split across both hips, so a little bit on each side. I'm going to make that up as my toile. I've decided G, and I'm going to make a dress out of a stretchy fabric to see if I'm happy with those measurements. So this is size G. This was a roll neck hack that I did, and I found that I did have a lot of ease on size G. So you might want that, because you might want to wear it in the summer and maybe have it looser so it's a little bit more airy, you know, with bare legs and pumps. I'm quite big here. I mean, I have added a little bit to that shoulder to put the long sleeves on, but it just feels overall a little bit too big and swingy, especially around the hips. This is a rib fabric, so you're getting quite a lot of stretch and movement from the fabric as well, so that will also need to be considered when you choose your measurements. What happens when I size down? When I size down, I get a much slimmer fit here. It's still really nice for sitting and working in. I can move around, but I don't have all of that spare fabric here. I've got just a nice amount of ease. In fact, the sort of amount of ease that needs to be in the pattern. So it depends what you prefer. I prefer that slightly slimmed down version, but you might want to have more room in different parts of your body depending on your own body proportions. Let's go back to the size chart. We'll have a look at what happens when you size down. The purple one was size G. That was the one I felt was a little bit big. And then I sized down to F for the short sleeve V-neck one. And I could do that because I checked first. My bust measurement was 95. It still fits in 100. My waist measurement was 80, which still fits inside 101. My hip measurement is 104, so it still fits within 115. What would happen if I wanted it to be really fitted? I could go down again. Let's double check. 95 centimetres would fit in size E, and it would be much more fitted around the bust, the shoulders, the arms. The waist is 80, so it would fit much more snugly towards my waist. And my hip would also fit in here, 112, but I would have less room around my hip. So that is how you can decide which size to choose. Take your body measurements, see if they fit inside the finished garment measurements. If you want lots of ease, size up. If you want just the ease of the pattern, find the one that fits your size. And if you want a slimmer fitting Savannah dress, then choose the sizes that are closer to the finished garment measurements. I understand for some people that might be frustrating to see my sizes and not your sizes, but I just want to show you the process. Whatever your measurements are, you would do it exactly the same. So if you were in the KT sizes, then you can have a look and do exactly the same here. So you can put in your body measurements, you can compare those to the finished garment measurements, and then you can decide how much ease you would like based on how much ease has already been built into the pattern. I've been checking out Minerva makers who have made the Savannah dress. They've chosen different fitting for their own comfort, for what they're going to do in the dress, for what fabric they have chosen, and there's some really lovely examples. You might be sizing for layering, so here this Savannah's been made to wear with leggings and a long sleeve t-shirt underneath. You might be wanting a more fitted style, so this one is more of a body skimming size selection. You might go oversize and have a little bit more ease. You can see there's more fabric around the waist. This version is just skimming the body and it's giving a really nice silhouette to the maker. Yvonne makes a few alterations for wheelchair use, so she makes it a little bit shorter and she doesn't put the pockets in, so she reduces the pooling of fabric at the front of her dress. You might make alterations if you're taller or shorter. You can change some parts of the pattern and not others by grading. You might choose to use a different size if you're making a hack or an adaptation to enable the hack to work effectively. If you want some more help to grade between sizes, you can check out this video here. If you would like a full sew along of how to make the Savannah dress, you've taken your measurements and you're ready to start sewing, then you can check out Diane's video here. She goes through the whole of the Savannah pattern from start to finish, and it helps you to get a successful sew on your garment. If you want to switch up the fabric choice like I have, so I've switched out a stable knit for a more drapey knit, then you can check out Vicky's video here where she gives you some fabric suggestions. She shows you the hand of the fabrics, and different fabrics in this pattern will give a completely different style and feel to your Savannah dress. If you are interested in any hacking videos, those are over on our YouTube channel or here on Minerva. If you hashtag Savannah dress, you will see them there. You can find out how to do a V-neck, a short sleeve, one without pockets, a tunic style with a hoodie. There's lots and lots of inspiration there to get you started. Thank you very much for watching. We hope you find these videos useful. We're hoping to make a how to fit video and how to measure for each of our patterns that are going to be released, so that you can choose the best size for the outcome that you want from your garment when you choose a Minerva exclusive pattern. Of course, we would love to see if you've made any of our patterns, so do share your makes over on Minerva. Make a free account, upload some photos, little description. We love to see what fabrics people have been choosing. Thank you very much for joining me today. See you again soon.